Hi, everybody, and welcome to the post-game show. The Browns lost. Thanks, everybody, for watching. I appreciate. It will be over very quickly. I guarantee you, there isn't much to say except the stuff that I have been preaching about over and over and over again. Had they done what I said that they should do, they let Dustin Hopkins come in and fuck up the beginning of the second half, and then we see Le Quit and the team just falling apart. And then we see, Kadarius Toney getting penalties, flagrant 15-yard penalties for no reason, and he shouldn't even be playing. And then he's on the sidelines irritating the hell out of James Prochet, who can't stand his fucking guts because Prochet didn't get to play because Kadarius Toney was, and that's what Kadarius Toney has done with his whole career. He's a butthead. And leave it to the Browns and their front office to find a schmuck like that to put out on the field. But there's so much more. 2 more interceptions for Jameis Winston. How many more do you want? Now, anybody who defends Jameis Winston on this program ever again will be thrown out because at this point, you're just trying to aggravate people. I mean, he's his own worst enemy. Nobody knows that better than the Lord. The Lord knows that he can't stop Jameis from being Jameis. Just can't stop it. Well, you said it early. You said it after I said it, Double P. Come on. Give the cow credit. His head's fucked up. My goodness. But, here's the reason why I've given up on the Cleveland Browns forever. Because it never changes. I don't know if you saw the slow-mo on the sideline of Kevin Stefanski after his ill-fated 4th down play. Now, you know damn well that hi, Dave.
Hello.
You know damn well that they can get the sneak more than 80% of the time on 4th and 1 with Winston. You know that. But no, for the second time this season, he decides he wants to run a sweep with Ford.
Oh, fucking Kadarius Toney just muffed the punt.
See, I'm ahead of all this. If you'd have been here just a minute ago, I just got done talking about that bum.
Oh. I mean, I saw the taunt, but it didn't look like a taunt to me.
It what?
The taunt that he got penalized for, but to me, it didn't look like a taunt. This looked like he got to talk to him.
Yeah, what's he talking shit for? He can't catch a ball to save his soul. You're wondering why he's not returning punts for other teams? That's why. He's got crab claws for hands, and that's why Jameis Winston has the hots for him. Okay? Oh, good God. It just goes on and on. So the sweep with Ford, and it loses yardage again. And the camera is there on Stefanski. And what did he say? Fuck me. That's what he said. Watch it. Go back and watch the game over. He said, fuck me. And what does that mean? He called the play. I guarantee you that was not Ken Dorsey. That was an overrule by the idiot Stefanski, the biggest quitter of all, who accepts every mistake the team makes and owns them. Ain't no turnaround for this. And there's no turnaround for me. So as of today, I'm done. There will be no more halftime, no more post-game shows until Jimmy Haslam's gone. Done. You wanted to find out what killed this podcast, basically. After 22 years, the same thing has killed the whole organization. There isn't a player on this roster, once they saw Dustin Hopkins miss again. I'm sitting there at halftime saying, you can't let him back on the field again. His head isn't right. You got to practice squad kicker. You got to play him for the rest of the year and sit Hopkins down and say, you got to clear your head. But all of this is happening because it's the Cleveland Browns and it's the environment that is in Berea. It's an uncertain future. You got bad ownership, bad decision-making, bad drafting, bad analytic structure, bad. The players don't want to play here anymore. As soon as one little thing goes wrong, they give up. That's the truth. I wouldn't want to be here. I wouldn't want to be in Cleveland if I were a player with a chance to, if I'm going to make millions of dollars somewhere, not in that environment. Hell no. You know, it's we all want the team to do well, Double P, but it's never going to happen because the people who are in charge don't know how to do well. They just don't know. I don't support this. And anybody with a brain, I'm sorry, Double P, but your heart's talking, I get it, but your head has to know better. You're feeding a monster financially. You're feeding a monster, and it's ridiculous. And so would I, Christopher. I actually quit jobs in my business. When I was managing radio stations, I quit them because the ownership was so bad, they'd find a way to lose and fuck with me no matter what. I'd rather be unemployed than to be a slave to doing things the wrong way. It's the way I've been my whole life. And I got good things to show for it. Mm-hmm. And that's the bottom line. If you're a player on the team, it poisons you.
That's what's going on in my life right now. I have was forced out of my job yesterday on Friday because I got forced out of my job on Friday because I did the right thing.
Oh no, what happened?
Well, essentially had a customer with a certain bill that we had agreed upon. I had quoted her, and then management stepped in and wanted to add like $1,000 worth of convenience air quotes fees, and I refused to charge them, and I got walked off the premises. Yeah. Character.
Well, here's something interesting that it will give you another indication. I was walking Topaz this morning. One of my neighbors, really great guy named Marco. He's from Italy, and of course he lives here now, and he had a health problem, and it was a health problem that I was familiar with. And so, we were chatting about it, and he said, really, the horrible part about it is I'm going to get like a $100,000 bill from the hospital. I go, why would that happen? He goes, because United Healthcare, UHC, canceled me, a couple of weeks ago, and they wouldn't state a reason. They just stated, we're canceling you, and that's that. So why is that significant? Because the CEO of UHC was shot and killed. And I'm all for it. Yeah. All right. If they're gonna give us guns, for Christ's sake, kill the right people.
I'll fuck around and find out,
it's, to me, I would bet any amount of money, because the person who did the shooting, who they haven't found yet, they found the casings of the bullets with, vengeful words on each casing of the bullet. It was definitely a crime of retribution. But I would guarantee you that UHC has done this not just to my friend Marco, but to thousands and thousands of people across the country. They had a purge.
Everyone does it. Blue Cross Blue Shield does it. Fucking, Medica does it. I mean,
and it's really hard to sit there and watch people who do things like this get richer and richer. And that's the thing with Jimmy Haslam. I'll bring it back home. Jimmy Haslam gets richer and richer for doing worse and worse. That's what happens. And there is no way to stop it from happening, but you either choose to be a part of it or you don't. Now, I still will have a program and I'll talk about the Cavaliers. There's an organization that historically keeps doing it right. And even within parameters, the Guardians, for what little money is being spent on them, has a much better result than the Cleveland Browns, who are shelling out $230 million for quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And here we go. From Christopher. I had that coverage and they denied my wife oxygen. See? And that is what you call death panels. This is insurance companies deciding who lives and who dies. The one thing I would tell people, and I'm getting older, everybody's getting older, is, get your termination notices within your family or your trusted ones so that you have a do not save me by ridiculous, crazy means, okay? But that an insurance company would do that, again, find the board of directors and shoot them too. And if this is the wrong thing to say, they're doing the wrong thing by hundreds of thousands of people that they've screwed out of healthcare. That's what they've done. And it's never enough for these pigs. It's never enough. I think supporting the Browns used to be a great thing to do. But if simultaneously I am supporting an unethical bum who's purposely, out of his own egomania, putting out a lousy product, why should I keep doing that? And, it wasn't really Stefanski who lost the team. In the end, it falls on him because it's the shitball that rolls downhill. See, for example, I'll give you an example. I'll bring Hammer Time in here. Hi, Jim. How you doing? No, you have no sound.
You're muted, Jimbo.
I heard something. But Stefanski is the guy who is at the bottom of the hill. But if you really want to know who's at the bottom of the hill, it's James Prochet, because he's on the sidelines not playing so that Kadarius Toney can commit penalties and then complain to James Prochet on the sidelines. Prochet was just rolling his eyes, shaking his head, just trying to get the fuck away from Kadarius Toney, who's been a cancer every place he's played. No, I still can't hear you. There's something up with your microphone. So, yeah, I'm getting an electricity noise. And
can you hear me now?
Yeah, now I can. Yeah,
it must be the headset. I spent so much money on this. Anyway, no, I'm hoping Kadarius Toney's on a month-to-month lease because I don't think he'll be here next week.
Yeah, I mean, it's just unbelievable to see. It's one thing George Pickens catches balls, and it's a pain in the ass. This guy, wherever he goes, he doesn't do anything except he's a pain in the ass. And you see, so who's at the bottom of the hill with the shitball rolling over him? It just depends where on the hill you are. And James Prochet's at the bottom of the hill. But Stefanski's getting run over by the shitball just as sure as I'm sitting here. And I know that Kevin Stefanski doesn't want to be with the Browns anymore. And honestly, I have nothing really against Kevin Stefanski, but how you can be a head coach and how you can run sweet plays on fourth down to Ford that consistently fail when you have had a plus 80% success rate with a sneak when the game was still within the team's grasp. How will you let Dustin Hopkins come in after everything he's done this year and let him continue to flail like that? It's just bad use of personnel.
Do you think D-Hop goes on the IR for a mental injury? And they bring somebody. They got to bring a kicker in. They have to bring a kicker in.
Yeah,
this week.
that's what I said at halftime. I said they just got to bring a practice squad kicker in. But I don't mean for a competition. I mean sit him down and just say, clear your head. You'll be back in the running for a job next season. Think about that and work on your mechanics because we can't afford to put that on the field. It's not professional. When a guy misses everything wide left and then he comes out and then he misses by overreacting wide right, he just has no idea what's going on. He's lost it. But a lot of
Chuck Knobloch, right?
Well, yeah, but the
the
Browns have a lot of Chuck No blocks.
Yeah.
The answer is the environment creates this. It created it with Cade York. It created it with Dustin Hopkins. And these are proven successful kickers in other environments. And, and you look at players who underachieve when they play for the Cleveland Browns. It is a cancer. And it spreads to every player on the team. Every one of these players needs to get off this team somehow. Their agents need to all phone Jimmy Haslam's front office and say, we want out of here. We understand we're on a contract and we'll play. We ain't going to play hard. Not going to risk our lives and limbs. Just know that. You seem very comfortable with losing, so we'll go right along with the plan. We're not going to let ourselves get hurt. And let them know. Isn't that what the Cavs say? Let them know. Why are we talking about Tony? Because he is the perfect illustration, Preston, of what this organization does. You bring in a cancer, an absolute cancer onto your team who's got no discernible skill level. He can't catch the ball. He's fast, but his attitude is so bad that he contaminates everyone around him. He played on a winning team.
Yeah.
He's played on losing teams. He's a cancer no matter where he is. And he shouldn't play one down in the NFL ever again. That's why.
It's kind of like, don't you think Kansas City would have kept him?
Right.
If he had any value? I mean, they've been down with receivers and whatever. You think that they would have kept him if there was anything left there. And the one thing that we do know, he's fast. Well, so was Anthony Schwartz. But he couldn't catch a ball either or run a route. So,
I mean, Wable saying, can't they fire Barry and Depot tonight to give us some hope? Nope. They're his boys. Absolutely. They're all Jimmy's boys. Oh, there's Christopher. I better add him in here. Hi, Christopher. How you doing?
I'm good, Moo. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Just my experience tells me that when you have a bad environment, even good people will rot. And or you can be like, Joe Thomas, and you can say, hey, I made it into the Hall of Fame, and just accept the fact that you're playing for Randy Lerner and you're never going to win. I mean, that's all well and good, if that's what you're willing to do. But most players are they're going to die somewhere between 57 and 62 years of age or have some crippling disease by that time. They kind of want to win. That's kind of the trade-off. And if you play for the Browns, you end up with the crippling disease and you lose. Not worth it.
Yeah, but Moo, I think most of these people want to win, but this kicker is killing me. I don't understand it. He's killing me. And then you got some. Well, wait, you got some guy that takes a punt, and then he fumbles the freaking punt. I was like, really? So that's not on the coach. I don't know who that's on. It's not on the coach. Quiet.
Yeah. So the bottom line is they're not going to fire Berry and DePodesta. They're not going to do that. The question being asked, the kicker's bad. Why are you still letting him kick? And the answer is because he was really good last year. He's a good career kicker. But that extra year in Cleveland where things went bad, everything has gone negative with the organization. He's lost his concentration. He's lost his confidence. And he signed a 3-year deal. And there's right now, if you were inside his headspace is nothing but negativity. That's all it is. That's all it is.
Yeah, but Moo, do they even have a backup kicker?
No,
I don't even think they have one.
No, most people don't have backup kickers. They sign.
You just find somebody off the waiver wire.
They just bring somebody.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, this guy, he misses to the left, then he comes right back, he misses to the right. I'm like, come on, the defense they're playing their behinds off, and then they get discouraged because you can't even get the 6 points you should have had. So they're like, why should we keep playing?
Yeah, Ken is funny.
I was thinking this was a Steelers wheel game for D-Hop. He kicks to the left of it, kicks to the right. We're stuck in the middle with him.
Yeah, there you have it. Gentleman swag, and that is the truth. The culture of comfortable losing, because instead of getting angry, the head coach says, we own it. Well, you own it. It's really funny. I remember the greatest car I ever owned, and that was an original Maserati Quattroporte, not the shit they make now. And that car, oh, I love that car. I mean, it was like an Italian mistress. I mean, it was like really just that's as swanky as I was gonna get anyway. And it's sad to watch Maseratis turned into Volkswagen Beetles before your very eyes, but that's what this organization is doing. And the culture of comfortable losing is exactly that. I don't own, the mistakes that I made in business. I own them, and I kept my fucking mouth shut and I corrected them. These people are just comfortable owning them. They're as happy owning their mistakes as I was owning the Maserati. They're proud of the mistakes they make. They own it. Don't get it.
Can you find me an Italian mistress too?
Well, the one about mine was that it didn't talk back.
That's why.
When she did, it was like,
yeah. They made the sounds that was like, yeah.
I wish.
Sounds. And that's true. That's all you're going to see for the rest of the year. Why should I waste my time with this? I do a Monday and a Friday podcast, and right now it's sunny outside, and I want to ride my bike. I want to get exercise, which is good for my health. I don't want to be here talking about this shit because it's the same thing every week. And who wants to, it's just like Groundhog Day, except it would be like if you were Bill Murray in Groundhog Day, and the day that was chosen for you was not Groundhog Day, but it was the day you get fucked in the ass in prison day. And so every morning you wake up in a prison cell and the big boy's coming at you. All right? That's what this is. How many years can you go on doing this? And if I feel this way, and I'm just a goddamn stupid ass guy who does a podcast for 22 years. If I feel this way, how do you think the players feel? It's awful.
Down, dog. Down.
And what are you going to say about next week? I mean, they play the Chiefs come to town and they're going to hang 50 on them.
Good.
You
No, they won't.
I'll be
No, they
cheering for
won't.
the
No,
Chiefs.
Tony, that's my
No,
thought. They'll actually play way above their
No,
they'll
the
outkick their
Browns.
coverage. You know what I mean?
The Browns will beat the Chiefs. You watch what I tell you. They'll beat the Chiefs because they beat people you don't expect them to beat.
It's a straight up trap game.
They should have been in. They should have been in the game today. The freaking kicker, he would have had them there, but they gave up.
Well, here's the deal. Comment like this: Winston went full Watson out there, and you know something? It isn't Winston. It isn't Watson. They have no offensive line. They can't run the ball, and they can't protect when the other team knows they're going to pass the ball. It's that simple. And the difference is that Jameis Winston has a stronger arm at this point in his life than Deshaun Watson, and isn't literally stultified and afraid to use the arm. He just winds up and throws it wherever the hell it is. And there was a pitcher in the old American League way before my time named Ryan Duran. You might know him. Ryan Duran was a relief pitcher. He would come in from the bullpen, and the first warm-up pitch he'd throw to the backstop to scare the shit out of the hitter who was in the on-deck circle. Seriously, he would just wind up and fire one in there, and so some young guy just would crap his pants in the on-deck circle. Somebody, if you're waiting for Jameis Winston to be your savior, you're fucked. He's not that kind of guy. No, and neither's Deshaun Watson. He proved that in Houston, even when he was good.
But Moo, when they first signed Watson, I told you I didn't like Winston anyway because he throws more interceptions than he does touchdowns.
Yep.
All right, last week he threw 4 touchdowns, 2 touchdowns to the other team, but 3 interceptions. This week he threw 2 interceptions. So you can't win with him. Yeah, He might be a gunslinger, but he's not Brett Favre. But he's not even Aaron Rodgers.
But the fans are happy and content if we put up some points. And what it's kind of like, it was like somebody asked me, what was it like when you went to see the Broadway show Mamma Mia? And
oh my God.
Okay. Well, it's one of those things that the opportunity fell into my lap and got to see the original cast of Mamma Mia on Broadway. And it's like, there are a few toe tapping tunes and you're tapping your toes. There's no discernible plot, and you leave and you feel like it was cotton candy. All right. There was no significance to it. And that's really what this is. I mean, the fans, if they can get a visceral rush from scoring 27 points in a game, they get a hard on. That's what it is. But there's no pleasure in watching a team like this play this way.
We found our new slogan. Remember, Pat Shermer always said we battled, and Kevin Stefanski's new slogan now, it seems like, from this press conference, from some of the quotes I'm reading, is "We'll get back to work." Yeah. What work? They haven't been working.
Yeah, but let me tell y'all something. Sometimes you want to be able to win. I knew the season was done when Watson went out, and it didn't matter if Jameis would have started beforehand, because as many interceptions as he throws, we'd have been in the same spot anyway. So they're 3-10.
Yeah.
They ain't beat the Steelers in 2 games back to back since the 1980s.
They weren't going to win, and I picked the game 38-9. That's what I picked the game to be. And
I'll say this now.
Yep.
I'll say this now. They're never winning in Pittsburgh again. So forget it.
They'll win in Pittsburgh. It just they have to have the right people there. Pittsburgh ain't hard to play in. Other teams go in there and beat them all the time. You just got to have the right personnel to do it, and you got to have a coach that knows what the hell he's doing. Why are you throwing the red penalty flag on a catch? just because you want to stop the clock.
Yeah.
Kevin's going straight ride or die here, ain't he?
Big Lurker's quoting Kevin Stefanski is saying, well, Dustin Hopkins, he's our kicker. He's our kicker. And, the bottom line is there's two ways to instill confidence. One is to give somebody an opportunity. But, there comes a point, and Christopher, you're a dog owner, so you know. Puppy shits the rug. Happens. That's what puppies do. Yes. If you take the nice, you're my doggy, he'll keep shitting on your floor. He'll keep doing it. At some point, you have to communicate with the doggy that, hey, this ain't working. And, so you have to, in whatever way you choose to do it, that right as they're doing it, you admonish them in some kind of way so that you train them. And I'm not going to sit there and compare the players to dogs, but I take that back. Kadarius Toney, we could use him. He shits on the rug wherever he is, and everybody has basically given him back to the dog pound. It's what they've done, and of course, that's how he found us. He ended up in a dog pound in Cleveland, and we're stuck watching this asshole screw up. He's our kicker. He's our kicker. You got to sit him down. You got to bring somebody else in and say, Dustin, this doesn't mean forever. God, I sound like the goodbye girl.
No, Moo, it does mean forever. He's lost whatever he had.
Let me tell you goodbye. Doesn't mean forever.
It was a beautiful day today. It was sun shining, and he missed both of them. And it wasn't on the holder because he got the ball down.
He's got the
It's on the kicker.
But you have to understand, things went so well last year when the team was actually kind of making a run for it. And when things went to hell, he's lost his focus. You have to sit him down and say, you're done for the year. And if you want to say you're our kicker next year, it's like, but you got to win the job. And if you're not strong enough to win the job, then you're not going to be the kicker. There comes a time. Do you think that Mike Tomlin goes up to his players who fuck up and pats them on the back and say, don't worry, there'll be a next time? Fuck no, he doesn't do that.
All right, but do you remember
coaches work?
Do you remember last year San Diego let him go? They let him go for a reason. They let him go for a reason.
Yeah, we expect them to make those. So do we. But again, how many times you have to be disappointed?
Well, pretty much. Never mind.
Yeah.
Well, I was looking forward to them winning today, but when the kicker missed twice, I knew we were done.
The worst part about it is that Russ did not beat this team. He sure as heck didn't do it. We couldn't stop the run at all. We shot ourselves in the foot with special teams. Fumbling a punt. The other, once again, you had a good head. The Horquez had a nice job again, pinning them deep, and then immediately they just run the ball right up the gut, right past us. I think Russ had something like 150 yards.
Well. Team wasn't doing anything well.
But
he had 150 yards or something like that. 160
but y'all got to remember something. If I was on the defense, I'd be pissed off too. Okay, we got you down there. You couldn't give us points. So again, we got to keep going out here on the field all day and try to stop people. And they're going to break down eventually. But, you got to have those points just to give you a chance, or at least make the defense think they're still in the game. That punt, when he fumbled that punt, I knew that was over then. I'm like, come on, man, you can't give him the ball right there. But that's how it goes. If I was the defense, I'd be pissed. Even if I have breakdowns all through the game, you can't even keep me in the game. And I give you enough where you can give me points.
Well, the
Hell, I'd rather
frustration
go
here.
for it on.
Hold on.
No, I'd rather
The
go for it on
frustration
fourth
here-
down.
The frustration here is fans turning on fans because y'all are willing to give Jameis Winston his 68.2 passing rating, is getting sacked 3 times and is throwing 2 interceptions and averaging 5.1 yards per completion. You're willing to do that for him, and you weren't willing to do it for the other guy, so y'all have no credibility either. You all keep just cheering for a loser. The teams don't become winning organizations until they have winning components. Those components start in ownership and management. That's how it all starts. So, and it's what it is. It's what it is, and I'm not going to be able to change it. And I don't really want to watch these games anymore. I don't want to be asked about this team anymore. I don't want to read about Jimmy Haslam's plans to get wealthier. I don't care. And that's what it is.
Yeah, nobody does.
Well, there was a great thing pre-game. They went over to, right before kickoff, they went over to Russell Wilson and said, "Hey, by the way, Pickens is not going to be playing today. He's been ruled out for the day." And he says, "Well, we got a lot of players on this team." He says, "Last week we threw to 10 different receivers. You know how many receivers they threw to today? 9.
Yep.
Pickens wasn't there. It would have been 10. That's why this team is 10-3, and we're 3-10.
Okay, but let me tell you, Pittsburgh is not going anywhere. They're not good enough to beat anyone.
Well, they beat us.
Exactly.
No. Wait till they get into the playoffs.
Yeah,
They'll be at home after one game. They'll be at home.
Yep, I agree.
Yep.
And that makes it all the worse that we lose this way to them because they're not even good. And I'm being asked, who do you hope to see as the Browns starting quarterback in 2025? At this point, anyone besides Deshaun Watson and Jameis Winston. I don't want to see either of these 2 players on the field representing the Cleveland Browns. I just don't.
Winston ain't going to be back here because they won't pay him, and they shouldn't. He had the last game, he had 497 yards, and if he was going to go to the next tier, he would have won that game. You can't throw 2 pick sixes in a game and expect to have a starting quarterback job. Who's going to take him? No one.
In the words of
they're
Denny
back
Green,
there with they're back there with Watson's contract next year, and they won't have enough to pay Winston anyway. I didn't want Winston here in the beginning, back in spring training.
Yeah.
So I already knew what we were getting with him. Hell, he was in Tampa Bay. He threw 33 touchdowns and 30 interceptions. They got rid of him. Then he couldn't even get past Drew Brees in New Orleans. So that just tells you he's not a starting QB. He might be good for 1 or 2 games, but he ain't going to take you anywhere. He's not going to go.
I don't think it was the fact he couldn't get past Drew Brees because he was brought in as a backup, because Drew Brees is going to be in the Hall of Fame probably as far as his numbers.
But Drew Brees got hurt and he couldn't even keep him afloat.
True. But he is what he is, right? We know that's where he's going to show those. It's just like Flacco. He's going to show those flashes of brilliance, and then he's going to sail one over somebody's head, and it's going to get picked off.
Well, all I ask is this, and it's the final thing I'm going to say because I want to go out and I want to ride my bike before the sun goes down. It's easy to sit back and say they should do this, they should do this, they should do this. Show me the money. And I don't mean that financially. Show me the results. And until you show me, Jimmy Haslam and front office and organization, that you're capable of putting a product on the field that is worth watching, I'm not going to watch anymore. Why should I? I mean, there's a whole bunch of things that I need to do personally. It wastes my Sunday in a way that it separates me from doing things that I love to do. Being glued to this shit from 1 o'clock or 4 o'clock or whatever for the next 4.5, 5 hours because of this show. I don't want to dedicate that much time to a losing proposition. And until they show me some kind of results that would give me a reason to support the team, I'm not going to do it anymore. I just don't care. We're going to have one last go around. David, did you want to say something before I get out of here? Because I got to get out of here now.
Okay, well, I do have probably a number of things. The first off, main issue that I think why they don't beat the Steelers is because they're not physically tough or mentally tougher than them. That's the same problem. And the main thing is, I still sit there and say Dorsey was forced on Kevin. I will go on the hill saying that. And I firmly believe that. That's all.
Okay, but the thing is that the yardage has been better since Dorsey took over than it was when Stefanski ran the offense. You're next, Christopher.
What's the temperature where you are, Moo?
Oh, like 76 degrees. Beautiful.
Okay, well, it's like 40 because I heard you said you were getting ready to ride your bike. So,
yeah, 76 it is. Hammer time. What's the final?
I wish.
Go Cavs.
Yeah, let's root the Cavs
6 o'clock.
on.
The Cavs are playing. Let's get this out of our heads.
And Tony, what's your final word?
It's been a great 22-year run, folks. Hopefully someday we're back here on Sundays talking about meaningful Browns football because I don't see it coming back anytime soon.
Let me know what happens in your life, okay? Please.
Will do. I'll still be on the market. Now that I've got some time during the week, so I'll join the Monday shows and whatnot.
All right, good. Thanks, everybody, for tuning into the postgame show. I'm sorry if this doesn't go the way you want it to go. And, right now, I have a real, I got like a stick up my ass about the people who are making the most money are screwing the most people. And it's bothering me. And I just am having a problem with it. So bear with me. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We'll be back again tomorrow with the Monday edition of Moohead Radio, when we'll be talking Cavaliers. And I'll talk a little Browns, but it's just going to be more of this in the same vein. So let's go Cavaliers and let them know. And we'll go from there. Thanks, and take care. And hasta la vista, Pastor Heads. Good night.